She gonna regret giving that man an alien bear to touch, I swear.
Facts.
Is it time, you think? Are we ready? We ready to get into it?
The debauchery that is Alex.
Yes.
Have y'all heard about this?
We're gonna pull this up. Yeah, so there's been some rumors going around about Alex from, what's her name again? Rikkii?
I think it's Rikkii or Rikkii.
We're gonna probably butcher her. We're gonna butcher her name. I'm sure of it, but her name is Storytime with Rikkii, and she is a full-fledged reporter. She's got the scoop on all this stuff. So she put out a video, was it yesterday, about this?
I think it was yesterday or the day before, yeah. But she has put out a couple of videos too about a couple of the different cast members. I will say, if you're not familiar with her, definitely go look her up. It's Storytime with Rikkii. I think it's RICKKII. But be prepared if you do watch the videos. Some of them do have spoilers in them. I think she does warn people about them, but just be prepared for those kinds of things if you do go watch. But definitely go check out her channel. She also has, I think, the video of the crying girl related to Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look up her little channel real quick. Okay. Yeah, definitely look up her stuff. She has all the tea on Alex. So let's get into it. Apparently, before Love is Blind even announced its cast, or we seen him probably at the reunion because it was him, Fabio, and Brittany, I believe, at the reunion of last season.
Right.
Apparently, there's a group called Are We Dating the Same Guy? And I've never heard of these groups, but this is what social media was made for, honestly. These girls go on this group and they try to see if they're dating the same guy and if there's, weird things about him, if he's normal, I'm guessing, this or that, or if he's cheating or, whatever. And Alex came up on there, and apparently there were many stories that came out. I guess we'll first start off with the fact, I don't know if it's a fact, actually, it's being alleged that it's all alleged. All right, we're going to put us under the umbrella of alleged, but she does have quite a bit of evidence to help back this up. So I guess we will see. He was having, allegedly, parties at his house as a 20-year-old man with teenage girls. And it looked like from the photos, it was almost all teenage girls. And it looked like there was a lot of drinking, a lot of rug use, a lot of just whatever. And we all know what happens at house parties. It seems like it was being said that he was alone with minors. It's also being alleged that when he gets girlfriends, he wants them to look younger, wear braces. I mean, who suggests for someone to get braces to look younger?
Yeah.
That's a whole oral day. Like, you got to attach
a day. That's
that's all, I would say surgery, but it's not really surgery. I've had braces before, but
don't you go to the oral surgeon though to get braces? I mean,
orthodontist, and it's not a surgery. They just stick them to your teeth.
Right.
But it does take a whole hours of your day, and then you have to have these braces on your teeth for months, if not years, because wild get braces.
I've ever heard a man say. I've heard a lot of men say a lot of stupid things, especially on Love is Blind, but that's about the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Do you imagine going to the doctor's office and being like, yeah, my boyfriend wants me to get braces, so I just want braces. You don't even need them. You just want to get them because your boyfriend is recommending you get braces. It's disgusting, but whatever.
It's weird. The whole thing is weird, and it only gets weirder with this man.
Oh, yeah. It gets a lot weirder. So apparently the ex that he refers to on Love is Blind, the one that cheated on him and all this other crap, he did spew a lot of stuff. He said that he was unpopular. He had an afro. He always wore a purple sweater. And then we see photos of him in high school and he was popular. He had a music video, which the dude can sing. What's he doing in a music video? I don't understand. I'm gonna have to look that up later. But apparently he was none of those things that he was trying to play off to be. He wanted to pull at my heartstrings. I'm always going to dislike him for that. Yeah. And for many other things right now. It's almost like giving Tyler. Remember how mad we were about Tyler? I'm just as mad about Alex at this point because he tried to trick me. And luckily we have someone like Rikkii giving us the tea because it turns out that this is one of the photos that she did share as well to kind of prove that it was Alex at this house at these parties. You can see his smug mother face.
Yeah. I don't know, this photo, not that I have any trauma, but it's triggering to me and that it triggers a lot of memories. And I feel like as 16 to 19-year-old girls, we've all been at a party like this with a guy that's too old that buys the booze. And then, not every time something crazy happens, but something crazy sometimes does happen. And we
Yeah.
all know those types of guys that hang out with young girls because they can't get along with women their age because they're trash.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I don't doubt any of these women's stories, but they are, again, all allegations.
there are
Alleged.
allegations, but there are some photo evidence, honestly. So I don't know. I kind of am leaning towards it's probably true, but
Mm-hmm.
for the sake of Chick Chat and for the sake of us, we're just gonna keep saying alleged. But these pictures are damning. The evidence she has is damning, and she has a lot in this video. She has screen grabs of locations of the pictures. The locations are matching up. Phone numbers are matching up. Lease agreements are matching up. So I'm almost convinced. I mean, she's almost got me convinced. But I'm
She
gonna.
definitely could take a lot of those to a court of law and possibly could prove a case for sure. But when I heard about this stuff, I'm not going to say that I wasn't disgusted because I was, especially being an adult. I know those types of men and what they are, especially now that I'm not young enough to be fooled by them. But I wasn't completely convinced yet that maybe he sort of grew out of it. I guess I was thinking as I was hearing some of this in the story, like maybe he grew out of this and he's a better person now and all of that. But then when I heard the rest of what we're about to disclose, Joe said, wow, I knew there was something weird about him when he was strange about attachment. Yeah, I was talking about this earlier too with Anne. I don't think we were filming then, but
I don't think so. I think this was like earlier in the day when we were ranting about this.
yeah, when we were ranting about, and I started ranting about, I thought that the fact that he was preoccupied about attachment was also super weird and a way for him to sort of pigeonhole women into being crazy and being a certain way and him being right. And he seems so preoccupied, especially in the text messages that we're about to talk about with him being right and good. But yeah, it's about to get worse because I'm not going to say I wasn't disgusted, but I wasn't quite convinced that he was to his core a horrible person until this next part.
Yeah.
Take
So
it
we
away.
get into some text messages between him and his former girlfriend. She claims, and you can see in some of these text threads, that I don't even know where to begin, honestly, but we'll start with his essay. He had an essay that he was doing for a class.
Like a literal essay with an E.
Yeah, real
E-S-S-A-Y,
essay.
not an
Yeah.
S-A-S.
Although we'll get to that too, but
not to be confused at this moment with a school paper.
Yeah, he's doing a school paper, and he talked about how his school paper was basically, going to probably get him an F because of the content of the paper, which he was trying to almost compare. So I guess the assignment was to compare replacing someone's food before they notice with something that you've done to an extreme.
It was the theory of utilitarianism, which is essentially saying that as long as everything is done for the good of the whole, or that there is no net negative, then technically it's not morally bad. Now remember here, keep this in mind, we're talking about morals, not laws.
Yeah.
Morals,
so
not
in
laws.
his paper, he wants to compare that whole situation of replacing someone's food before they notice to, for better words, essaying a girl while she is unconscious and she doesn't know it happened, and how it benefits all of them.
And the woman that he was getting the peer review from did bring up, how is this a benefit to somebody to essentially R them? And he said in utilitarianism, which is why he was writing the paper, that it doesn't always have to be a benefit, but sometimes as long as it's a neutral outcome, that it's a net positive. So he was trying to say that this was a neutral outcome for her because she was unconscious and had no memory of it. Exactly, Joe. Exactly, which is why we're trying to talk about this. I know Ann and I are just a small channel, but we both agree as well that this needs to come out and be very viral before the reunion happens. I'm not sure if the reunion has been taped yet. I know they usually tape it pretty close to when it airs.
Yeah.
And it is airing next Sunday. So we agree.
It does need to talk about after what they did to Trevor with the time clock. I need Alex in the room with a time clock.
Oh, I need him with a time clock. I need him with some of these girls as fathers in another room with a time clock. This guy is gross. This guy is gross. He wasn't talking about this as a what's the word I'm trying to say? As a possibility, as if it never happened. He was actually saying this is something I did.
Yeah. It's disgusting, yeah. And Joe asked, did he do that or is he fantasizing it? It sounded like he did it, right?
It sounded like he was saying that this is something that he did. I don't know if he put that in the paper, but the text messages, I don't know if you screenshotted any of them. But again,
No.
go check out this full video with story time with Rikkii. I think it's like a 20-minute-ish video. It's not super long.
Not even.
Yeah, so go check that out for the full thing. She has a lot of screenshots of a lot of text messages, and it sounds like from the text messages, he's getting some peer review from another woman, mind you. And it sounds like he's admitting to her that this is something that he has done, and he's trying to justify it with this utilitarianism theory, which again is about morality, not about laws, because it is completely illegal to R somebody.
Oh yeah. And
Period.
I'm actually shocked that his professor didn't report him. In fact, he got a 79 out of 80.
Yeah.
That is shocking to
Maybe
me.
he didn't make it clear in the paper that was some. Maybe he just kept everything in theory.
I
though,
would
but-
pay to read that paper. I can only imagine, because it seems like he was when she was trying to negate his paper and say,
Right.
I think you're going a little extreme here. Basically, she was trying to almost in a different way, like roundabout way,
Mhm.
say that. He was like, I think you have autism and don't understand.
Yeah.
Sir, what?
Yeah.
For one, that is super offensive, especially for people with autism. They are smart people. In fact, much
Right.
smarter than yourself.
Right.
They, like with my brother has autism. He has Asperger's syndrome. He's a smart person. He just lacks social cues.
No, I think what Alex said there just only proves that he is a complete idiot. We don't need to even.
Yeah.
I mean, he just doesn't even know what he's talking about with that part.
Yeah. He's just disgusting, honestly. Yeah. And I'm more and more convinced by the moment. So basically, as they are talking, because we're still going on with the ex-girlfriend, because there's a couple of females that get brought in and out of this.
Yeah.
But she is the main one I'm thinking that they talk to. There isn't, so I'm not going to try to confuse too many things. So we're just going to keep going on with what she said. There is another point in their text message thread where it seems like the law was after him for something he did.
Yeah, it seems like he was kind of freaking out about if like his lawyer had let him know that it was sort of just a wait and see if there was going to be charges pressed on him. He wasn't clear in the text messages what those charges might be, and he was talking about how he was super worried that the police would just show up on his doorstep at any time. And you know what? That's what happens when you commit a crime. You did not commit some morally gray area type of thing, like steal somebody's lunch out of their refrigerator and replace it before they got home. That's a moral gray area. You committed a crime, and for that, if somebody knows about it, especially the police, they're going to show up at your door and they're going to charge you to the hopefully fullest extent of the law. But none of that happened here.
No,
because he ended up on this show. And good question, PF.
That is
I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't think Netflix
I
has
think
any
probably because there were probably allegations, but there were obviously never any charges. I don't think they would bring someone on the show that had charges. But I'm not shaming any kind of victims of any kind of essay, but I think that this is also a good reason too why if you have any ability in you to think that you could get through making a report of what somebody did to you, then you most certainly should.
I will say I find it interesting he even went on a show having this kind of history. Like, you really didn't think any of this was going to come out against you at all by going on a national TV show. Are you serious, sir?
Right.
Like, you were really trying to keep yourself away from the law. And it sounded like in the text message when he's talking about police maybe showing up at his door and being so upset that his Facebook got shut down a couple times and he was freaking out about it. Who knows why? Who knows what's on that Facebook? It sounds like
you were talking to women all kinds of sideways like you do now and sharing all kinds of sociopathic tendencies. One of his, I don't know if it was the ex-girlfriend or if it was one of the other women, but somebody said that their parents were worried that this man was a sociopath. And he was basically saying, like, so what if I am a sociopath? And there could be a benefit to that and blah, 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 blah. How? Just stop it. How weird are you, sir?
Yeah, I'm not.
I think maybe some proof that he is a sociopath. The fact that he came on the show knowing who he is and what he's done to people. He has no capacity or any idea to even recognize that he's done something wrong and hurt people. Even in the text messages, it doesn't even seem like, even when women are saying, I'm triggered, this is, I don't want to talk about this. He's like, has no
empathy for that.
Doesn't compute. He doesn't get it.
Yeah. And when they do talk about that, he's like, well, does it still affect you? And they said, well, no, I mean, it was a long time ago. I was able to compartmentalize it. And then he has the nerve to tell somebody, because she's expressing to him that she got essayed when she was 9, apparently. This is all alleged, remember, in a public pool. And he says it's weird of him to do that there. Not in general. There. In a public pool.
Yeah. And then went as far as to ask, well, were you asking for it? A 9-year-old at a public pool.
Yeah. Probably. Oh my gosh. the amount of jaw that dropped when I even saw that part alone. Who the hell says that about a child?
I hate that there are people like this that exist on this earth, and I
And they
hope
belong in jail.
they belong somewhere. I mean, he's, as far as I know, I'm not sure if we can accuse him. I mean, we can accuse him. I'm not sure if we can convict him of a crime, but he belongs somewhere. People that think like this are just a special type of sicko. He is a sociopath. He's psychotic.
Oh yeah. And PF says this man needs to go to jail.
Mhm.
Is right. If any inch is true, he's going to hurt someone.
Yeah.
Or he already has.
Well, that's what it sounds like. Something was brought to somebody's attention. Maybe his lawyer was able to get him out of actually getting in trouble. But yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I
agree that he's either on his way or he already has in some roundabout way. It sounded like when he was confiding in a different girl that he met on Hinge, allegedly, that he is like confided, like almost like he wanted to do things like that. He had like fantasies of it, but maybe he hasn't done that yet.
Yeah, he called it a mental illness. My hunch is that he's probably confiding in that he has fantasies about R-ing people, which is a sexual disorder. But I don't think that's things that you share with people openly unless you're receiving like intensive psychotherapy about it. But it's not something you talk about as like, I don't know, small talk or foreplay. Madison did really save herself, PF. You're very much right. And the fact that Madison met this man after the show at the airport and he's all, oh, please stay with me, blah, blah, blah. I mean, this girl's intuition knew exactly right. And the whole time in the pods, this guy is trying to get Madison not to trust herself, not to trust her own emotions, not to trust the fact that sometimes people in this world don't have the best of intentions and they're shady as F and they're disgusting. And this whole time he's trying to get Madison to just think that he's this sweet as pie little man who was picked on. And, you know, I thought that Madison was going to rip this man to shreds. Come to find out, this guy is a literal predator.
Monster. If any of this is true. If even, you know, like Rikkii said, where there's smoke, there's fire. And even if a fraction of this is true,
any single one of these stories is true. And Rikkii went through and she verified his phone numbers, his addresses, his leases, anything she could get where your phone geotags photos and the girls were sharing photos, all the addresses were on there verified. I mean, this is not a conspiracy theory. I think this is pretty well verified.
Allegedly verified, but honestly, I believe her. Look at the evidence. Even the couple of photos that I took, the one photo that I took.
No, that's him. Totally. Yeah.
That's him on a couch with a girl snuggled up to him, probably underage, which is why she's probably crossed out. And yeah, you see minors drinking at his house. You see like all this stuff. And I know he was 20 and maybe these girls were only like 3 years younger than him, 4 years, but that's a gap. That's still not okay. That's still not legally okay.
And those are just the creepiest guys to me. The 21, 23, 24-year-olds who hang out with 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds. Those are the grossest men.
Oh, yeah. I think
they can't get along with women their own age because they're not worthy.
And I think Madison was spot on when she said, like, he's a liar. He's this. I wonder why she said he was a liar. I wonder if she found out any of this, if she even went on that "Are we dating the same man" thing. She might have found out some things on her own. I almost wish, like, I don't wish this for Madison, but I almost wish they would have got engaged just because I think that would have made this story blow up earlier. I think he definitely would have. I think he definitely would be on the spot with the Lachey's. More so than Trevor. I mean, Trevor did some crappy things, some horrible things, but this guy's talking about straight up essay in these text messages.
And really going back and forth with himself about whether or not he has a mental illness that he can't control, about his urges to do this, and going as far as to, I think he has some strange fetish about sharing these ideas with women. And then when women say that they're triggered, because let's be real, a lot of women have been SA'd at some point in their life and they don't want to hear about some guy fantasizing about SAing women. All of a sudden he's like, what's wrong with you? I can't believe that you would be so invalidating to me and make me feel like such a piece of crap, then turn around and call them a piece of crap. It's wild. Go watch this video, y'all. It's just wild.
Yeah, you guys got to watch these videos. We need to reconvene next week, and hopefully more comes out by then. I hope more survivors come out or something or whatever, because it sounds like she even tried to get a hold of a couple people that wouldn't kind of get a hold of her back, maybe because they're still traumatized. It sounds like the girlfriend lied about cheating on him just so he would leave her alone.
Yeah.
And mind you, and some of these texts are weird. Like he gets into fights with people, and then at the end he's like, "We'll always be your friend."
Yeah.
It's like weird. Like, I don't know. He rubs me the wrong way, but he kind of, I don't know. At first I felt bad for him with his sob story, but then now to learn all of this, I can barely.
And that his sob story might not even be real.
It doesn't seem to be.
Someone did bring up an idea, I think, in her comments that is just a possibility, maybe, but those pictures look like him in high school, and there were other pictures of him too, and maybe he was all pimply and disgusting in middle school, and then he had his little glow up. But again, I don't trust this man. I don't trust a word that he says. I think he's a sociopath, so who knows?
Well, she seemed to have a date. She said this happened in 2015, a lot of these photos, and he would have been 20 years old in 2015.
Right. So then he very well could have been an ugly kid in high school, middle school, whatever. But again, I just don't believe it.
But she did also show a yearbook photo of him where he did not seem ugly.
But that was high school yearbook.
Yeah, true. He won't wear no purple sweater, though. If I wore a purple sweater every damn day, it's going to be
nice hair. He had no pimples. He was looking fine. I think this guy is a liar in more ways than one.
Ugh. There's always one of these guys every season, honestly, that you're like, how much worse can it get? You're right. You're right, Joe. He's a con artist, and the show is getting dangerous. You know, and you hear about this stuff behind the scenes. There was the season where they didn't even show a couple because it was so volatile. There was, I forget who the names were. I remember he was a fisherman or something.
Yeah, and she was a veterinarian, I think she was.
Something like that. And they actually went all the way pretty much to the wedding. And they had to cut her out. The editing was weird that season. And then last season with Tyler and those kids, and now him and Ashley are getting divorced. Like, I feels like a lot of these people, there's always going to be one weirdo that comes on here for clout, which I don't know why they do this when they have so many skeletons in their closet. It's just like, why not just sign your own warrant?
Yeah. I mean, people, I think, like, don't police officers always say that a lot of times killers will come back to the scene of the crime? I mean, people have this weird way once you've done something bad, or you're, I don't know, a rotten apple, I guess, of just going back. It's just weird. I don't know what humans' preoccupation is with viewing their own shit that they caused.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't really get it either.
I do agree, Joe. I think the show is getting dangerous. I also think the concept itself is dangerous. I think they kind of got lucky the first couple of seasons that they didn't have a bunch of whack jobs on there. Dating is dangerous. You meet a random person, and then you get to know their lives based on what they would like to share with you, and everything else is a mystery. Dating is dangerous. And then on top of that, you add a commitment to a television show to marry this person, actual legal contract to marry this person. This show is very risky.
I feel like they should almost have that same thing that they have at, what is it, Married at First Sight, where they give them the annulment option after a few weeks.
Oh yeah, like, definitely.
Like, let's meet up and see if we want an annulment.
I'm sure that they do. I mean, an annulment is possible for any marriage.
After a certain point, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there does come a point where you have to get a divorce and not an annulment.
Joe asked, could he still get caught and arrested? I mean, I guess it's possible. I know there's always a statute of limitations with this kind of thing, and Rikkii did acknowledge that it's been almost a decade since all of this happened. The other thing is that
there could be other people, so who knows?
There could be, but that's what I'm kind of getting to here. Is the other thing is that you need an accuser that's willing to go through the legal process and accuse him of this. Having somebody, even if you witnessed it, I mean, I guess if you witnessed it, maybe you could make a legal report, but people have to be willing to go through the legal process. And that is not an easy thing for victims to do, especially victims of SA. It's not a safe place typically to be in these interview rooms. And sometimes people are treated very poorly. So a lot of times victims don't feel comfortable coming forward, but that's the only way to get somebody arrested is to have an actual victim or somebody who has real firsthand experience seeing this, not just we read about this online and we heard, that he's a possible aurist. I wish that that's the way that it could work, but imagine, anyone on this channel could call me an aurist and then I would be caught up in all of that too. So we have to use the legal system
we do.
As much as it sucks. Hey, User Alien, we're happy to see you joining us. User Alien says, I knew I couldn't stand him. Yeah,
Are you good, User Alien?
We catch User Alien on Friday nights, okay? User Alien be hitting the bottle a little bit.
I know last time we were having a chuckle about some of your comments.
They're so excited to chat with us. They don't care.
We loves it. We love
User Alien.
Anyways, Yeah, I agree with everything that you said. I think there definitely would need to be an accuser, and it sounds like at one point there was one. When he was talking originally about all like cops showing up and stuff, he said, I think the word, now don't quote me completely, go rewatch her video, but I'm pretty sure at the bottom of these text messages there's a little sentence that says them coming back again to question me. So that means he might have been questioned before about something.
I remember him saying again as well. So yeah, it sounds like something could have happened a couple of times. And yeah, I mean, even when things are reported, it doesn't always mean, sorry, I'm driving. It's okay, user alien. We're happy to have you here.
We saw you were hitting the bottle.
Oh, yeah, don't be hitting the bottle if you're driving.
Yeah, that makes sense. We must catch you every day after work.
Yeah, no texting and driving. Yeah, we know you're here now, so you just stay safe.
Yeah, you just watch.
Yeah.
You like that video though. Maybe give us a share if you hit a traffic stop.
Yes, only at a red light.
Only at the red light.
You know what?
I'll do the red light district. Not the red light.
I'll do it for you. I got a sponsored share by user alien.
Okay, let's do it. Man, but yeah, a lot of tea came out about this guy. I mean, I could probably talk about it for hours. I was appalled. I was shocked a little bit. I mean, he definitely put on a good front for us and for TV. I don't know who the hell he thought he was fooling, because us women, we love gossip and we're going to talk to each other. It sounds like she talked directly to these women. And obviously, I mean, they gave her all these text messages. There were some things that were bleeped out, certain names, certain words, things like that, words that aren't appropriate. But I believe it, especially the way he kind of was at the cast party. He seemed to kind of stay away from Madison. You know,
he did.
Why didn't they have a conversation?
It was almost like when he walked in, he asked somebody else, who are all those girls over there? And Madison was one of the ones that was introduced. It was almost as if he didn't even want people to know that he met her.
Yeah.
So weird.
Yeah, it was strange. Did you think it was
totally
weird?
dodged a bullet.
I almost felt like they were going to have a conversation, because she was like, if he even tries to talk to me, I'm going to tell him kick rocks, basically. Yeah. And then we didn't see them talk. So I was wondering, did they try to talk and it just went like that? Or did they not talk at all? And he was like, oh no, this girl.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
there was a lot of build up to Madison. And I mean, we definitely heard her side of the story with Alex and everything, but we definitely didn't see them communicate at all.
Yeah.
And that can't be because of this stuff. They couldn't have cut him out because of this stuff, because this stuff.
They would have cut him out completely.
Yeah.
I think, if there was this stuff. Like, I think it, like with Trevor, it came out after the show aired. So they didn't cut Trevor out either, because it was already after the episode aired that all his crap came out. So
let's just really hope this comes out at the reunion. And I mean, I don't know why he'd be at the reunion though either, unless we're having a Trevor.
Why was Trevor there?
Yeah, well,
Trevor didn't need to be there.
We do Trevor in the timer box, but we could. I'm down. He deserves it more than Trevor did.
Oh yeah, and Trevor messed up big, but this is bad.
This could be the only justice truly that this man gets brought to. So I hope and pray that all this gets aired out on the reunion, even if he's not there to speak up for himself. You know what? I hope he's not there, and then they just talk about it anyways. They give a little PSA about avoid this man.
Some PF asked, did Madison know? I don't know. I can assume not to this extent, at least. But I do wonder if she knew something, because she did call him a liar and all these things. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure what she knows. I think it's possible she might have saw something. She might have saw he's weird or a creep, or maybe had a couple conversations with people about him. But yeah, I mean, if what's his name, if Dave could find out about Lauren hooking up with some dude, I don't find it impossible that Madison could hang out in certain circles that know about Alex. But yeah, at the same time, I feel like if she knew about this, I almost feel like she would have called it out. Yeah, because she was ready to call everything out when she was at that. She wanted to throw Mason out of the bus just for things that we already saw in the pods out of jealousy. But
my hunch earlier was right though. I thought that when they teased that, I get these names so mixed up. When they teased that Madison said that somebody is a liar, it was about Alex and it wasn't about Mason.
Yeah.
I was right.
He was right. Oh my goodness, is things okay over there, Miss Brooke? Anyways, anything else on this Alex topic? I know we've been kind of going on about it for a minute.
We have been going on about it, and that's discussed.
But it is I would say this Alex topic was more interesting than all three of these episodes. Mm-hmm. So I will say that it is a lot more interesting than all of what I've watched.
We'd have been gotten off the live 30 minutes ago.
Honestly, to be real, we definitely would have already been done. But yeah, I hope we see him again.
We still have two other couples to cover, though, right?
Yeah, but they'll be fast.
Yeah.
They'll be pretty fast. We just have Fabio and Taylor and Daniel left. I keep just only calling them Fabio. Fabio and Monica.
Fine. Yeah. Everybody knows.
We all know who Fabio is, right? We're not that young. I hope. We all know who he is. It's Joey. Anyways.
I mean, wasn't that movie in the 80s? I mean, we weren't alive in the 80s.
It's not a movie. He's a person, and he was in all romance novels and all types of stuff. He was just a man. Fabio. He was Italian.
A real man?
Yeah, he was a real man. He was just on a million romance novels.
Man.
Look him up.
I'm looking him up. He was born in damn 1959, okay? I'm too young.
He was big in the romance novel industry, and he was on plenty of horseback. If you remember walking into libraries and seeing the adult section and seeing the man on horseback, that was more than likely Mr. Fabio. In fact, you know what? Let's get this man off my screen because I'm sick of him.
No, don't worry, Anne. I got you.
Oh, perfect. That's him. That is Joey. Joey's cousin. Which is why I laughed so hard when Monica was like, you only like Italian 6 foot tall men. Like, who is Fabio? Fabio is an Italian 6 foot tall man with long locks. What do you mean?
It's true.
But yeah. Oh, one last thing about the Alex thing. Make sure that we do go watch the full clip about the Alex allegations. It is, I think, even titled Alex Allegations at Nikki. Is it Tea Time with Nikki?
Story time with Rikkii.
Story time with Rikkii. Sorry, I'm gonna butcher this because I'm so bad at remembering names, but
I know we're really trying to give you your props, girl. I swear.
We are. We're not trying to steal the story. We're just trying to get this story out more because we want this stuff talked about. This is the stuff I want to hear about on the reunion because I need this man to explain himself. And I kind of want other people to come forward. If anybody has been victimized by this guy, I hope that
this is what the thumbnail looks like.
Yep, that's it. And yeah, but you can see you got to put it down a little bit because you were mainly just showing what we were talking about.
Which is the same. This is wild. Amber's wild. This man's wild. Everything's wild.
Everything's wild. So if you missed it and you're just joining, if you want to hear all the allegations about Alex, go back about like 20-30 minutes. We definitely discuss this in depth and our opinions. But do you think, actually, before we get off the topic of him, do you think if him and Madison would have made it on the show, it would have even gotten to the weddings before all this kind of stuff came up? Or do you think it would have had an Ashley type of situation where everything comes out after they're already married or whatever?
It seems like this is the first I've heard of all of this, and I haven't heard like in what's his name situation with Laura. What's his name?
Lauren and David.
Yeah, I haven't heard like with David's situation. We heard about the social media thing affecting them, where this is the first I've heard about everything going on with Alex, and I haven't seen it affecting the filming. So I would guess if they ended up together and they ended up married, they would be finding out about that stuff now with all of us.
Yeah. I think that everything might have came out at the reunion because I think this story would be a lot bigger than it is. But like you said, didn't you say that last reunion, one of her questions came up? Or like some of the things that she was reporting on came up later in the reunion or something like that?
I did say
that. I'm hoping it gets traction.
Mm-hmm.
I just haven't seen it being reported on, but hopefully, we get a lot of content creators like Grace Report hopping on it.
Mm-hmm.
Sloan, even, I don't care. Like, just throw everybody in the mix. This needs to be known. This needs to be known, and this man needs to be accounted for. I mean, we were so upset about Steven last season and how weird he was. This is weirder. Like,
yeah.
And these men all seem fine and dandy, but then, you find out a few things. It's funny because last season you liked Trevor, and then we found out all this crap about Trevor. And then this season we're like, oh, Alex seems okay. We liked Mason, but we're like, oh, okay. Alex
I didn't really like Alex. I mean, he seemed okay. He didn't seem like a predator.
Yeah, he didn't give me any red flags.
Yeah.
Not like, I mean, David gave me red flags right off the rip. I was like, oh gosh, this is the new Andrew.
User Alien is now stationary, so they're allowed to comment now, and they feel so validated. So I'm guessing that yes, that's what they said earlier, that they knew that they couldn't stand him. So yeah, this is the reason. You have good intuition, User Alien. Thank you for waiting to comment until you are safe and stationary.
Yeah.
We're glad you're safe.
Yeah.
So should we trolley on?
We should. Let's
do it.
Do we want to go to Fabio or do we? I guess we could start off with them because my favorites.
They're still your favorite?
No, I say Taylor and Danielle are now my favorite after that Christmas photo shoot, but
it was so that cute that she wore her dress too. Like they wore the same outfit, but yeah, we'll get there. Actually, let's save them for last because they're my favorite.
Yeah, so and I do also like Fabio and Monica. I just don't see a lot of them, so we'll just
User Alien asked, did he actually hurt some? Are you driving again? I'm guessing someone. I don't mean to pick on you two. We really
yeah. You're one of our regular commenters. We're not.
I am making a strong someone. Yes, I'm making a strong interpretation that he did actually hurt someone. I haven't seen him write on a text message to somebody.
Not Fabio.
No, not
Joey.
Fabio.
Actually,
Other guy. Yes. I haven't seen him write on a text message or anything to anyone or in a paper actually admitting to doing wrongdoing, but he's walked around the edge just about enough that I think it can be implied that he's done this at least once. I think more times.
I mean, if you think about it, all those girls at his house, for what other reason?
And if he's trying to morally justify and forgetting about the law that someone can do that to someone when they're sleeping, I think he did that a few times, more than a few times.
And just because like he says that they were sleeping or whatever doesn't mean that they don't know it happened too. Like they might not know it happened, but at the same time, unless he like, you know, incapacitated them, like slipped them something, he doesn't actually know that they don't know. What if they woke up during and there's, you know, and they just kind of froze? A lot of people say that when they are assaulted, they like come out of their bodies sometimes, or they just freeze and don't know what to do, or pretend like it didn't happen, or just like stay quiet. So like, how does he know that this person doesn't know what happened to them?
Yeah.
And
I don't know. I just feel like even if you were completely passed out, like sometimes you feel different feelings or pain, or, you know, even if it's not excruciating, you feel things down there after you have intercourse. And so I could not imagine waking up with the question, you know, sorry if any of this is triggering to anybody too, but I couldn't imagine waking up with that feeling and having the question, did something happen to me, and not be able to know that answer. It's terrible. It's terrible. He's just disgusting. That's a possibility, I suppose. User Alien.
Yeah, I guess one thing we didn't touch on was that he was explaining, I guess, this is all alleged. This is still all alleged, but it's been alleged that he was also telling one of these girlfriends that the kinds of porn he looks up, he puts young in front of anything and he gets young stuff. And the date that he went on, that there was a 14-year-old around that was wearing like a certain outfit, like jeans and a crop top and like tennis shoes and stuff. And he looked at his date and was like, you should dress more like that. And that would just give me, I mean, I hate saying the ick.
I would have ran so far away.
And I run so far away.
To get away.
To get away from Alex. Hey.
Oh, man. You're welcome, guys, for that one. We're here to entertain.
That was our music video.
That's as close as y'all are going to get.